It was a battle that lasted almost 4 hours. We'll recap a game that had Trojan fans losing it. USC football heads to South Bend to defend the Shillelagh against longtime rival Notre Dame. And who do you need to know on the Fighting Irish squad? All that and more next on Sports Scene.
Welcome back to another week of Sports Scene. I'm Pickle Coleman.
I'm Scott Hills.
And I'm Casey Kasliner. Heading into a classic rivalry game against Notre Dame, USC is coming off a win that had Trojan fans on the edge of their seats. But first it's time to look at that past week's matchup for the 6-0 Trojans. USC narrowly escaped the Arizona Wildcats in a triple overtime thriller, ultimately winning 43-41 in front of a crowd of over 62,000. It was the smallest margin of victory in the history of USC versus Arizona and the only game to go to overtime. But in this case, there were 3. Arizona came out fast, taking a 17-0 lead in the first half. The Trojan offense did not look like its usual electric self early on in the game, though. While quarterback Caleb Williams didn't eclipse 250 passing yards for the first time this season, he led the Trojans to victory with 3 rushing touchdowns and the game-winning 2-point conversion. USC did not look like a top 10 football program this game. What against Arizona went wrong?
I think in this past game against Arizona, what I noticed was these receivers on the Trojan side just not being open for Caleb Williams. Caleb having to run the ball way too many times, which just I don't think is going to be sustainable for the rest of this season.
Good point, Pickle, but I have to point to the offensive line. You know, it was Caleb Williams' worst game of the season, but you have to think part of that is due to the lack of physicality on this offensive line. You know, they're not giving him an option to run his running back, Marshawn Lloyd. It puts a lot of pressure on Caleb.
I agree. I think the overall theme being complacency and letting Arizona run the tempo of the game early on and falling to a deficit before the halftime.
Well, as we can see, USC couldn't get anything going early, which allowed Arizona to take the lead, making Saturday the first time the Trojans trailed at any point this season. It was incomplete pass after incomplete pass throughout the Trojans' first 4 drives. Williams threw just 2 completions in the team's first 4 drives, with its first 3 drives ending in punts, and its 4th a fumble. USC did not score until 5 minutes into the second quarter. Hear what Lincoln Riley had to say after the game.
Anytime you go down 17-0, you got a mountain to climb there, and we certainly had a lot of moments where we didn't play very well, certainly in the beginning of the game, but our team's fight and resolve to get back and find a way to win that with some of just the craziness that happened in this game. I'm really proud of. A lot of teams don't win this game.
This was the first game that USC did not score a touchdown on its first drive, and it hadn't scored less than 42 points in regulation this season, but on Saturday, USC had only 28 points heading into overtime.
If you were at the Coliseum on Saturday, you definitely saw the Trojans call a play in the third overtime that some would describe as interesting, to say the least. Let's hear from Riley about the Trojans' game-winning play.
That was something that gave Caleb a chance to run it or throw it, and I actually think he would have thrown it. We had 2 receivers that tripped each other up, which was a little unfortunate. It might have been a little bit less dramatic, but guys executed it in the end, and that's what you practice for those moments for. Again, proud of our guys for getting it done.
Take this last play down. Look at this. The whole offensive line moves left, setting up some sort of unique trick play. The game plan set a pick for Dorian Singer, who's going to cut back outside and be wide open. Singer falls down, so then it was time for the Heisman to improvise. William gave a stutter step, found the edge, barely gets into the end zone to put the Trojans up by 2. Defense holds strong for that USC win. But maybe sometimes the best plan is to come up with a new plan.
USC heads to South Bend this weekend to play Notre Dame in an attempt to retain the jeweled Shillelagh. Notre Dame is coming off of a 33-20 loss at Louisville last weekend, its second loss of this season. Notre Dame started off the season 4-0, but have dropped 2 of the last 3. The Fighting Irish lost 17-14 to Ohio State after a last-second touchdown from the Buckeyes, and their second loss came on the road to an undefeated Louisville team. Head coach Lincoln Riley knows he faces a very tough test this Saturday.
This is a good football team, though. This is
A very good defense, and then it feels like they've been energized a little bit by the quarterback coming in. That's obviously played pretty well for him the entire year and has a ton of experience. And so a good football team, a very complete football team.
This is a historic rivalry. In fact, this will be the 94th time the Trojans kick off against the Fighting Irish. In the overall series, Notre Dame leads USC with a record of 50, 37, and 5. The Irish have also beaten the Trojans in 7 out of the last 11 games they've played. USC currently holds the Jewel Shillelagh, so they will be looking to keep it by breaking their 5-game losing streak in South Bend.
With 2 losses, Notre Dame is not unstoppable. There are a few ways to contain Sam Hartman and the Irish offense. Let's take a look. Louisville gives USC's defense the blueprint to shut down Notre Dame's offense. Pressure Sam Hartman. Louisville rushes 5 defenders, 1 gets through, and Hartman is under pressure, forcing this interception. And what happens if you don't pressure Sam Hartman? Pressure gets to him late here, and he delivers a laser across the middle to tight end Mitchell Evans. Lincoln Riley offered his scouting report on the Notre Dame offense.
Transfer quarterbacks come in and done overall a really nice job for them. They've moved the ball efficiently. He's played very well. A few new people in the supporting cast. Big physical offensive line, kind of what you come to expect out of playing in Notre Dame.
The path is clear, but what will USC have to do this week to contain Hartman's offense and the Irish?
The defense needs to hold this team to a stop. We can't have these plays like against Arizona where the Trojans are letting the other team score so many points before we even have a chance to put points up on the board. I also think this is going to be our most challenging test so far, given the trip to South Bend, this much more challenging team than we've seen so far, plus this cooler weather that the Trojans are about to face.
Right, Pickle. We've seen this USC defense make subtle improvements over the last several weeks, but kind of like you said, I think this is going to be a big test for the Trojans offense. In these windy and rainy conditions, it can be hard for a team that relies a lot on their passing game. It'll be interesting to see if Coach Riley might adjust his game plan, maybe looking for a big running game out of Marshawn Lloyd.
I agree. I know the Trojans' defense has struggled a lot this year, but Notre Dame's offense hasn't been great either. Of course, Mitchell Evans has been great at the tight end position, but the receiving core for the Irish has not been that strong. So let's hope that the USC defense can stand up against an offense that's had woes.
Absolutely. This Notre Dame team is full of offensive weapons. So before heading to South Bend, we have to give you the players to watch. It is time to meet the opponent. Notre Dame quarterback Sam Hartman has proven to be a strong asset for the team. He utilizes all of his weapons on the field to allow the Fighting Irish offense to get some big wins over opponents. The senior transfer from Wake Forest has proven himself so far this season, passing for over 1,700 yards and completing 64.5% of his throws. The offensive weapon has 16 touchdowns and only 3 interceptions.
One of Hartman's primary options in the passing game has been the dynamic junior tight end, Mitchell Evans. Notre Dame has made strong use of Evans this season, as the tight end already has 343 receiving yards so far, a drastic improvement from his 39 total yards last season. He has been essential, especially in third and long passing conversions, coming out of the gates strong this season as a sort of secret weapon for the Fighting Irish.
Junior running back Audric Estime has been a reliable producer of touchdowns for the Irish thus far, with 7 total. Estime is coming off a good 2022 campaign where he posted over 900 yards and 11 touchdowns. Estime was especially crucial in Notre Dame's first 2 games of the season, where he combined for over 300 rushing yards. He will look for a big game coming up against a USC team that has struggled immensely on defense.
We'll have to see if these 3 offensive weapons stand out on Saturday. But coming up next, it's Pac-12 Media Day for men's basketball. We'll take a look at their schedule and who to watch out for on this Trojan squad. And later, women's soccer looks to continue its hot streak. All that and more still ahead.
Tim Goey, and this is Fushigi. We're going to show you how to unlock the secrets of Fushigi, the magic gravity ball. No strings, no tricks. Magic? Maybe. An illusion? You decide. You can make fushigi defy gravity and appear to float in midair with maneuvers like the prayer cross, the enigma, levitation, and so many more. It floats, it levitates, it will confuse the senses with its mind-blowing movements. Young or old, big or small, anyone can fushigi from the minute they pick up the magic gravity ball. And with a little practice, you can conquer fushigi.
It's so amazing.
I think it's fabulous.
I get it now.
Everyone loves fushigi, and you don't have to be a magician. It's relaxing, even therapeutic. Best of all, it's just amazing.
It floats.
It's awesome. Fushigi.
From basic maneuvers to the advanced, even control more than one fushigi at a time. You can do this. Mystify, amaze, and confuse your friends in just minutes. Now it's your turn to master fushigi.
Fushigi.
It's sick. It's so much fun. I love it.
It's amazing.
I love it.
Me too.
My grandson, he's 16, he would love one of those. I want to buy it now.
Fushigi.
Call now to order fushigi.
At Pac-12 Media Day today, USC men's basketball was picked to finish second in the conference, ahead of UCLA, but behind Arizona. The team officially released its season schedule, and this season, you can catch over a third of USC's games on one of the ESPN networks. USC opens the season in Las Vegas against Kansas State, then they'll be back in Sin City for an early December game against Gonzaga. As for Pac-12 play, USC must look out for usual conference rivals, Arizona and UCLA. The preseason All-Pac-12 was also released this week. USC and Arizona are tied with the most preseason selections, and the Trojans are tied with Colorado for the most first-team selections. Returning guard Boogie Ellis has been named to the first team along with freshman Isaiah Collier. Kobe Johnson made the second-team preseason All-Pac-12. Boogie led the team in points per game last season, while Johnson looks to improve upon last year's breakout season. As for Collier, the ceiling for the number one overall recruit is unknown. Ellis and Johnson, along with head coach Andy Enfield, are in Las Vegas today for Pac-12 Media Day. The Trojans' first game of the season is November 6th against Kansas State.
It's an exciting time for USC women's basketball as it prepares for a promising season with some new faces on the court and returning veterans. Returning for her third year as a Trojan, center Rhea Marshall has made a major impact at USC so far, earning all Pac-12 team honors and being named a semifinalist for the Naismith Defensive Player of the Year. Along with a successful career at USC, Marshall earned a silver medal with Team USA at the FIBA Women's AmeriCup in Mexico over the summer. Arguably the most exciting addition to the USC roster is USA Today's most recent girls basketball player of the year, Juju Watkins. Watkins has a storied career already so far and was the number one recruit in her class. USC fans hope the 6'2" point guard will live up to her hype on the court. The two Trojans were recognized at a conference level for their talents. Marshall landed a spot on the 15-player preseason All-Pac-12 team, and Watkins earned an honorable mention.
Yeah, I feel like going on my visits, I felt like it was a family here. Like I was close to all my teammates my teammates and coaches and staff, and even the coaches from other sports. It just felt like a family at USC, and I'm just glad to be a part of that.
USC women's basketball tips off its season against the Ohio State Buckeyes in Las Vegas on November 6th.
Women's soccer is now ranked 13th in the nation thanks to a 6-game win streak, with 5 of those games coming in shutout fashion. It was all USC last Thursday as they shut out the Oregon Ducks 3-0. Forward Simone Jackson led the way with 2 goals, and midfielder Helena Sampaio added a third. On Sunday, Jackson and Sampaio scored 1 goal each, and forwards Kayla Colbert and Izzy Kimberly added 2 more goals in the Trojans' 4-0 win against Oregon State. Soccer has won its last 6, improving its record to 9-2 overall and 5-0 in the Pac-12. USC has only let up 1 goal across its last 6 games. Hoping to keep their win streak alive, the Trojans take on Colorado on Saturday at Sony McAllister Field. They've yet to play Stanford and UCLA, the Pac-12's stiffest competition.
Women's tennis hosted the Woman of Troy invite this past weekend, and they took home some hardware to show for it. Junior Parker Fry and senior Naomi Cheon took home the doubles championship with 3 wins. As for singles play, Fry, McKenna Koenig, and Sloan Mora went 2-1, while Gabrielle Lee won her only match of the weekend. USC women's tennis has over a week off before it heads down to San Diego for the ITA Southwest Regional Championship, October 19th through the 23rd.
Number 3 ranked water polo had a disappointing trip in Northern California this weekend, taking back-to-back losses to number 5 Stanford and number 2 Cal. Football wasn't the only team that went into overtime on Saturday, as water polo nearly knocked off Stanford, scoring 2 goals in the final minute to tie the game and send it into OT. In the end, though, the Cardinal beat USC 14-13. The Trojans faced a similar fate on Sunday against Cal Berkeley, allowing 5 consecutive unanswered goals, losing 10-9. USC plays again on Saturday. Their next challenge, a trip across town to take on number 1 ranked UCLA.
As it seems to be the case every week, Trojans were once again recognized at the conference level for their outstanding play throughout the last week. Women's soccer's goalkeeper, Hannah Dickinson, was named the Pac-12's Goalkeeper of the Week following a pair of shutouts against the Oregon schools. Dickinson made all 5 saves necessary for clean sheets. Escobar, a senior defender, received her first career Pac-12 Defender of the Week award. She's been an integral piece of the USC back line and also posted an assist against Oregon State. USC is outscoring opponents 17-1 in the last 6 games, and it's largely thanks to the efforts of Dickinson and Escobar. The Dodgers must win 3 straight to stay alive after falling 0-2 in the NLDS against the D-backs. And hockey is back. The NHL season dropped the puck yesterday, with the LA Kings set to play tonight. Don't go anywhere. This is Sports Team.
I'm working for an hourly wage. I went to high school, didn't do great. Still, I gotta make more cash. More education is what I'm looking at. When I get a degree, I will make a bigger salary. So now I've got to see which college is right for me. I went on the internet and found Education Connection. I took some free tests to find out my direction. I'm taking my classes online, getting my degree on my own time. Education Connection matched me with the right college for free. Get connected for free with Education Connection. Get connected for free with Education Connection.
Log on now and get your free success kit worth $100. Log on now to educationconnectiontv.com. That's educationconnectiontv.com.
There's a new pet.
Chia.
Chia Pet, the pottery that grows. It's fun and easy. Soak your chia, spread the seeds, keep it watered, and watch it grow. And now grow a whole collection of fun with Chia teddy bears, puppies, kittens, rams, bulls. There's even a chia tree to keep your pets company. Chia Pets and Trees, the pottery that grows.
The Chia Pet and Chia Tree are available at Kmart, Rite Aid, Ames, and Woolworth. Makes a great gift.
The LA Dodgers are on the brink of elimination from the MLB playoffs after a 4-2 loss in Game 2 Monday night and an 11-2 humiliation by the Arizona Diamondbacks in Game 1. Game 2 was a game of miscues for the Dodgers. Starter Bobby Miller gave up 3 runs in the first inning, with the bullpen later stabilizing the game. The Dodgers also wasted a golden opportunity, only getting 1 run out of loaded bases in the 6th.
You know, we just got to pitch better and at times and take better bats. I think that we have the guys that can do it, and we just got to take better team at bats and win the next game, win Game 3.
Frankly, the Dodgers don't look too good right now. Guys, what do the Dodgers need to do to avoid getting swept?
I personally don't think the Dodgers can win this series, but if they want to win Game 3 for pride, Lance Lynn's on the mound. He has a great history of pitching at Chase Field. He's never lost a game there. The Dodgers bats need to wake up. They can barely get base runners. They need to generate base runners, generate runs down the stretch in order to beat the Diamondbacks.
I definitely agree. I think we're going to see yet another early exit from the playoffs with this Dodgers team. Yes, they did win the championship in 2020, but other than that, we've seen a lot of struggles in this playoff run. We had first baseman Freddie Freeman and right fielder Mookie Betts combined 1 for 13 in their first 2 games. It's just not looking good for this team.
Casey, you touched on it a little bit, but between Clayton Kershaw and Bobby Miller, the Dodgers pitching game has been unimpressive at best. You know, they're going to need Lance Lynn to really turn it around if they want any hope for the rest of the season.
Absolutely. With 3 games in action last night, the NHL season is back underway. 12 more teams will face off tonight, including the Kings. The Kings will open up play against the Colorado Avalanche tonight at 7 p.m. In a matchup that contains 2 playoff caliber teams, be on the lookout from a big game from Kings center Adrian Kempe, who had 41 goals last year. With last year ending in a first-round exit for the Kings, they'll hope to make it further this time around, especially with the addition of Pierre-Luc Dubois. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Sports Scene. For everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm Casey Kasliner.
I'm Scott Hills.
And I'm Pickle Coleman. Have a great week and fight on.